guys, welcome back to another one. If you are new to the channel, I am Gold Pony. I do new car, truck, SUV reviews on YouTube, and today we are in the new 2022 Toyota Sequoia, courtesy of Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on their inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so I am in this one today, not just because of the incredible reliability, but there is a ton of space in this 3-row SUV. You guys will see what I'm talking about when we get to that 3rd row legroom. I'm going to test it out for you. But really the question for me in this video is going to be, do you buy this 2022 Sequoia now, or do you wait for the 2023 redesign, which is when it's rumored to happen as a 2023 model? So nonetheless, in this video we will be testing out and going over everything about this one, from acceleration to braking, steering feel, ride quality, sound system, exhaust clip, all of that fun stuff. So having said all of that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with the pricing. And so there are going to be several different trim levels available for the 2022 Sequoia. First one being the SR5, starting at $50,500. Then there is the TRD Sport, which actually is the one we have today, starting at $53,215. Limited for $59,520. Nightshade Special Edition for $60,605. Platinum for $66,550. And lastly, the TRD Pro, starting at $64,625. But all of that pricing was for the rear-wheel drive configuration, with the exception of that TRD Pro. That comes standard with 4-wheel drive. But if you wanted to add 4-wheel drive to any of those other trims, you can simply add roughly $3,200 then to any of those prices. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on the Sequoia is going to be the same. Powering this beast is a 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V8, putting out 381 horsepower at 5,600 RPM, 401 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 3,600 RPM. Power center rear wheels or all wheels through a 6-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 6.6 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 13 in the city, 17 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. But so now, having gotten all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put this thing to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2022 Toyota Sequoia here up to speed. All right, here she is, you guys. Actually, not bad. It's a V8, that's right. I don't know why. Yeah, that is plenty of an acceleration. You're definitely not going to have any issues merging onto the highway. I was somewhat hesitant about what that was going to feel like just because of the sheer size of the Sequoia. It's a mammoth, but with a V8, it's definitely going to be enough power. So that is plenty of an acceleration for this thing. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 13.9-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 13.6-inch rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, it is going to come in at approximately 130 feet. And I will say, kind of feels like that. That is a little bit on the higher side as far as that number goes, and it is a bit of a softer braking feel. Again, probably because this thing is a beast. Acceleration was great. Wouldn't have minded if the brakes bit just a bit harder on the Sequoia, though. That's just my personal opinion. Then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to find an independent double wishbone type front suspension. In the back, exact same thing, independent double wishbone type rear suspension. Gas pressurized shock absorbers, front and rear stabilizer bars. But the suspension configurations, there's going to be a few of them. They're going to differ amongst the trim levels. For example, if you go with the TRD Sport that we have today, that is actually going to add a TRD tuned Bilstein shock absorbers along with a performance tuned anti-sway bar as well. Platinum trim is actually going to add an adaptive suspension system, meaning it's going to monitor each shock absorber individually, not only giving you a smoother ride, but also tightening up the suspension during heavy cornering as well, giving you better handling. So again, best of both worlds there. Also, an air suspension for the Platinum trim level. So really, if you're looking for the utmost ride quality and a little better driving dynamics, that Platinum trim level is really where it's going to be at for that particular configuration. Then if you were to go with the TRD Pro, that is going to add to this TRD Sports off-roadness, adding things like TRD Fox shocks and upgraded springs then as well. And as far as ride quality goes, it's actually been perfectly fine. I'm on some very smooth roads here in Hagerstown, I'll say that, but the ride quality has been perfectly fine in my short test drive here today. Definitely no issues there. As far as steering feel goes, as we are turning into Greenbrier State Park here, steering feel is just a little bit on the looser side, but it's kind of expected for a super huge SUV like this. So wouldn't have minded if it was firmed up a little bit. That's just my personal preference. But for what this SUV is, it's probably perfectly fine, so no issues there. As far as cabin noise goes, I am driving right now. There isn't a whole lot of wind noise or exterior road noise whatsoever coming into the cabin, so that is certainly on point. And touching on visibility, I can see perfectly fine out the back, with the exception of those third row headrests being a little bit larger than normal, but other than that, I can see perfectly fine out the back. And you can fold that third row down anyways, and that would assist with visibility as well. And not only that, there actually is a button by the driver's side right knee here that opens and closes that rear power window. So you don't always see that on other SUVs. I know you see it in the 4Runner that I just got done reviewing, but with other SUVs out there that are not Toyota, you don't usually get that. And I personally love that. So anyways, that about rounds out the performance segment of this review, guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2022 Toyota Sequoia. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2022 Toyota Sequoia, looking dang good in black here. Let's go ahead and start up front on this beast. 10 inches of ground clearance. Let me just start with that. And that's a big deal because most other SUVs will give you around 7 or 8 inches. So if you were planning on taking this thing a little bit off-road, 10 inches is definitely a very good starting point at least. But also just below it, if you were to go with the TRD Pro, I know we don't have it today, but you will actually get a TRD front skid plate if you were going off-roading. Again, that's going to help definitely protect a lot of the undercarriage components. So therefore, that's what that TRD Pro trim is going to be there for. But front grille is going to, of course, differ amongst the trim levels. For example, since we have this TRD Sport, we have our front grille completely blacked out. There's going to be some chrome horizontal bars. And then there's black front grille with the Toyota lettering spelled out horizontally if you were to go with that TRD Pro trim. So again, a little bit different depending on the trim level. LED headlights coming standard for all trim levels across the board. I absolutely love that. So didn't always happen that way, so I do like to emphasize that now. Automatic feature coming standard across the board as well, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, those headlights will turn on automatically for you there. LED fog lights coming standard for every single trim level as well. I love that. Not only that, if you were to go with the TRD Pro, you actually get rigid LED fog lights, meaning the company that makes it is called Rigid, but little different design really, but either way you get LED fog lights across the board, so I love that. But pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the Sequoia. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, low profile roof rails coming for all trim levels, and they're going to be finished in either black or chrome, depending upon the trim level that you go with. So we have all the black accents, in case you guys didn't notice that already, for the TRD Sport. So that's what you're looking at right now. Rear privacy glass does come standard for every single trim level across the board, but also raised black roof rails for the TRD Pro. I almost forgot to mention that, and that comes with horizontal bars as well. I can't show it to you guys because we don't actually have it today, but that is going to be there for you as well. Taking a look at the side mirrors, they are body colored power adjustable heated side mirrors for all trim levels across the board, with LED integrated turn signals for the limited trim level and up, and they will also be auto dimming and power folding yet again with that limited trim level and up, so that's pretty nice. Running boards are going to come standard on all trim levels, as you can imagine. With 10 inches of ground clearance, this one does sit up a little bit higher than normal, so running boards are a necessity. Cast aluminum running boards then for the TRD Pro. That's pretty cool. Then take a look down at the wheel setup. 18-inch alloys for the SR5, 20-inch alloys for the TRD Sport, Limited, and Platinum, and then 18-inch BBS forged aluminum alloys for the TRD Pro. But pretty much rounds out the side of this one. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, body colored shark fin antenna all the way to the top. Just below that, rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Just below that, rear window wiper. When it comes to the badging in the back there, it's either going to be finished in chrome or black. Again, we have all the black accents on this one. Smoke taillight housings coming standard for every single trim level. I do like that look. Looking down below though, when it comes to the towing capacity, we do have both 4 and 7 pin connectors, and the towing capacity is actually going to come in at 7,100 pounds if you were planning on towing with the Sequoia. So I always like to mention that. But to the bottom right hand corner there, you do have a single exhaust outlet, so I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. So now since we are around to the back of the Sequoia, when it comes to opening that rear tailgate, it is going to be a power tailgate. If you were to go with the limited trim level and up. Otherwise, it is simply a manual tailgate. But once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 18.9 cubic feet behind that third row. If that was not enough space, of course, the third row does fold down, bumping that up to 66 cubic feet. And then with all rows folded behind that first row, that is going to come in at a very impressive 120.1 cubic feet. That is a ton of space, by the way, so plenty of space there. And there is a power folding third row that is available, so I wanted to mention that on the higher trim levels. We, of course, don't have it here today. Can find some grocery bag hooks in that cargo area. There is a 12-volt power outlet. There are tie-down anchors. And lastly, my favorite part, in-floor storage if you lift up underneath of that cargo floor, so you can store your ice scraper or whatever else you need. It's actually a decent amount of storage there. But then make your way up to the third row legroom. This is very impressive, you guys. 35.3 inches of third row legroom. That is crazy. That's very, very impressive. Usually with 3-row SUVs, it comes in at 29 inches or 30 inches at tops, but 35.3, that is where all the space is right here. So it is adult friendly in the third row, believe it or not. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in that third row. You do have cup holders for those third row passengers. They even have storage back there just beneath the cup holders. And there is rear ventilation for all 3 rows, and that's going to be found kind of on the ceiling of the Sequoia, even in that third row. So you got to love that. Make our way to the second row legroom. That's going to come in at 40.9 inches. Again, for reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. Still plenty of space there. When it comes to the second row configurations, because you can get captain's chairs or bench seating, captain's chairs is going to come with the TRD Sport like we have today, or the Platinum, or the TRD Pro. Bench seating then coming with the SR5 and Limited. There is an optional 9-inch Blu-ray player with headphones. Don't have it today, but there's also some climate control buttons found just in front of those second row passengers, so they can set their own temperatures if they wanted to. Just beneath that, if they pull out underneath there, they're actually going to find a couple cup holders, which is pretty darn nice. That's where they're going to be located, at least for the captain's chairs configuration. And there is a 12-volt power outlet then for those second row passengers as well. But then making our way up to the front seats, 8-way power driver's seat with cloth finishes coming with the SR5 and TRD Sport. That, of course, again, is what we have today. 10-way power driver's seat coming with the Limited, and that's going to come with a leather finish as well, and those front seats will be heated. Platinum trim then is going to add a perforated leather, meaning you get ventilated front seats then as well with the Platinum. But overall, I got to be honest, it's been quite a while, I feel like, since I've sat in cloth seats that were this comfortable. Let me just say that. I've sat in cloth seats because I've reviewed plenty of cars, but these are very, very comfortable cloth seats. So if you're going to go that route, well, at least they're comfortable, right? So I'm definitely a fan. But anyways, then making our way to the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping, so definitely easily able to find my perfect driving position, and it is leather wrapped then as well. Then make our way to the startup. Let me first start by showing you guys the key here. It is a pretty basic key, which is good news for me because I like to lose my keys in Ocean City, Maryland, and when I do that, it's going to be less expensive to replace this thing. But anyways, you got the Toyota logo on the one side, lock, unlock. It is all keyless entry with the push button start for all trim levels, so all I'm going to do here, simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just by the driver's right knee. And so once started up, tachometer is on your left, speedometer is on your right. There is a small digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. You can use the steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel, giving you things like your outside temperature, tire pressure information. There is a digital speedometer if you chose to display that up there, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. The list goes on, pretty much everything you could possibly want on the digital portion, at least, of those gauges. Then making our way to overall interior quality. Power moonroof coming with all trim levels across the board. You will get HomeLink controls if you were to go with a limited trim level and up. Don't have them here today though. Overhead sunglass holder coming with all trim levels as well. It's found on the ceiling there. Tri-zone climate control for all trim levels, like I was mentioning to you guys. One of the best parts about the Sequoia, besides that power rear window though, is the dual glove boxes. A lot of times that kind of thing is going to be overlooked by others, but I love that there's 2 glove boxes because you usually don't get that with other SUVs. So it's different. You guys know I like different. So we got upper glove box and a lower glove box. And since I mentioned the towing capacity earlier, there is a tow or haul mode found just in front of the shifter here. Just in front of the cup holders, there are actually 3 USB charging ports, another 12-volt power outlet. There's a smaller cup holder kind of just behind the dual cup holders, a little bit of orange ambient lighting as well. There's a little bit of space just behind the shifter. I think that's probably to put the key in. And then within the center armrest, there is probably the most space of any vehicle out there right now. There's a ton of storage. There's a 12-volt power outlet there. On the back side of the center armrest, you're actually going to find a little slot for business cards. You're also going to find a place where you can put your pen. It's not going to slide around. And there is a separate section for tissues as well. Dare you put anything else besides tissues in that section, and Toyota will find you. So wanted to make you guys aware of that. But overall, interior quality is, it's kind of on the basic side, if I'm being honest. Maybe the redesign next year is going to fix that, but it'll get the job done. I'll just put it that way. But so then taking a look at the infotainment screen here, it is a 7-inch color touchscreen display coming standard for all trim levels. Bluetooth and audio streaming coming standard. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, so that's a good thing. Factory navigation system coming with a limited trim level and up. Of course, you can check out your radio information up there as well. And by the way, when it comes to the sound systems, you will find 8 speakers with the SR5 and TRD Sport that we have today, 12 speakers with the limited, and then there is a 14 speaker JBL sound system with the Platinum and TRD Pro. And by the way, that sound system comes with an external amp and subwoofer as well, so that's pretty cool. But like I said, we do have the 8-speaker sound system here today, so what do you guys say? Since we're in December, let's go ahead and turn on some Christmas music and let's test out the clarity of this one.
Relatives you don't know, then comes that...
Actually not that bad. There was a very decent amount of bass for basic 8-speaker sound system, and you know what, it's not that bad. A lot of times you'll find 6-speaker sound systems in SUVs, so the 8 speakers, extra 2 speakers, it's kind of nice. For it being a standard sound system in the Sequoia, it's not that bad, I'll say that. Last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen at least though, is when you do put this one in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board, which is always going to lead us into safety. And so at the time of this video, although it's not tested by IIHS, it has scored some good safety ratings out there. You guys can do your own research there. But front side curtain airbags do come standard, but driver and passenger knee airbags then as well. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard for all trim levels across the board. Blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, front and rear park assist, and Toyota Safety Sense, which includes a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert, automatic high beams, and dynamic radar cruise control then as well. And so overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here of our 2022 Sequoia, I love that there is an adult-friendly third row, meaning I can actually fit back there. It's very rare that I fit in a third row SUV because, I don't know, I'm 6 feet tall and usually there isn't all that much space back there. It's usually left for kids. So if you have adults that want to sit in the third row, they can do that here in the Sequoia. Of course, you have that amazingly reliable V8 found in the Sequoia as well. You could check out any Consumer Reports magazine for confirmation of that. As far as room for improvement goes, it's just so interior quality. It's kind of on the basic side, especially for the price range. So hopefully that changes next time around. Outdated tech as well. It's a 7-inch color touchscreen display in a vehicle that's going for over $50,000. That needs to be changed, and I'm sure it will in the next generation. So that leads me to the ultimate question. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Do you buy the 2022 Sequoia now, or do you wait for the 2023 model year redesign? So that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on social media at the bottom of the screen there if you want to see what's coming next on the channel. Before it actually gets to YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews. That is what we do here on this channel after all. Do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Stay gold.